Welcome back to publicly reviewing the books that I found on my wife's Kindle by accident, where apparently I am the only one trying to maintain a shred of my innocence while the rest of you are actively encouraging my downfall with your book talk terrorism. In this episode of That's Not Romance, That's a Felony, I'll be reviewing part 2 of the series by H.D. Carlton, Hunting Adeline. And let me tell you, part 1 was definitely the more lighthearted of the two, because instead of kicking my feet and clutching my pearls, I was clutching my chest and Googling if there were any therapists in the area who specialize in book talk trauma. Let me be clear, this was not a reading experience. It was an abduction of my mind, my peace, and my trust. I don't think I'll ever be able to trust the book talk bamboozlers ever again. In my comments, they were like, "Oh, it's dark, but it's fun. You'll love it." There is no fun in this book. This book has a type of darkness that makes you question your values and your morals. Not to mention, if you ever get charged with a crime, you're definitely going to be convicted because your Kindle history can and will be used against you in a court of law. So the book picks up right where we left off. Adeline had just got abducted by the society. And suddenly I'm reading scenes that have my stomach in knots and my heart completely torn into pieces. The shoe scene had me closing the Kindle, getting up, looking at all my wife's shoes in our closet, and asking myself why H.D. Carlton would do this to me because I felt personally victimized. But then I would just go sit back down and start reading again because I'm in too deep, and apparently this is my life now. I obviously can't go too far into her experiences on TikTok because of, well, reasons. But I will say, as a husband and a father, my protective instincts and my level of empathy are way too high to be reading books like this because I'll tell you, there are moments in this book that have stained parts of my soul black. Meanwhile, Zaid, or Zaddy as you guys like to refer to him in my comments, is absolutely losing his mind. He went from, "Hey, I'm a stalker with a good jawline," to full hell on earth rage where he will single-handedly take down the entire organization. He will show up to every auction and burn it down to the ground for touching his toy. He's basically John Wick if John Wick was jacked, obsessive, and unhinged. Which honestly makes him the best character for this book because Addie deserved nothing less than that. On a real note, this book ripped my heart out in part 1 and then slowly put the pieces back together in part 2. Not all of them, but some of them. Zaid's arc in this book is huge because he changed into a patient, understanding partner, which I think did a phenomenal job showing that a person with trauma can benefit by being with someone who is very patient and understanding even when they don't understand. But while also killing everyone involved in the situation. Except for Rio, bro. Come on, I get it, I know. But he's the only reason that she was still alive in the first place, and he helped her escape. He had no other choice. And Sibby? Oh, how I love Sibby. And I want to read her book right now. But just like my middle school sweetheart told me right before summer started, I seriously need a break just to see what else is out there. Look, this book was tough, and I now realize that I have gone too far. I am no longer a civilian. I am now a card-carrying member of the unholy book talk besties. So yes, I did love this book, and no, I will never admit that publicly outside of this platform. So for the rating on this book, it gets 5 bored trophy husbands and 1 very concerned spouse. So now all you book talk bandits, I know we've had a tough relationship starting out of the gate and you guys have lied to me before, but I gave you a chance to rebuild that trust in the comments on my last book for the next review of Credence. And most of you have doubled down in the comments saying that Credence is definitely a tight-knit family story about a supportive family, and it's a love story, and I love that. And I love supportive families. Who doesn't need a supportive family? So I'm going in blind with no trigger warnings because I trust all of you because you are all my new book talk besties. So if it's not true, speak now or forever hold your peace.